I need to see my presentation. How are you doing this morning? Are we having fun yet? Okay, great. Let me go back a moment. So today we're going to be talking about live action. Video surveillance quality problems. How many of you know Medianet technology? Show of hands. How many of you have experienced video quality problems that find it difficult to diagnose and resolve? Show of hands. Because end-to-end management is difficult and expensive. You have not enough tools, too many tools, silo processes, resulting in frustrations and finger pointing, as well as time loss. You have to resort to many different tools and CLIs. At the end of the day, your customer just wanted to work, and you find that you spend a lot of time troubleshooting and not being able to resolve the problem on a timely basis. And so today we're going to be talking about the overall joint solution between Cisco and live action. I'm going to give you a short demo, and I also wanted to let you know that we have an offer where you can download live action, and if you say you're from as is, you get an extended license for 60 days for 50 devices, and each device is a switch or router. I'm going to try to go to the next slide. So the easiest thing to understand this joint solution is by going through a couple of use cases. Here what you have is, the first use case we have is a troubleshooting and resolution of video quality issues. You have a security officer environment and you have IT help desk. When a security officer recognizes a video feed quality issue, he knows it's coming from camera X in building Y. He reports that problem to the IT help desk. And the IT help desk has to recognize or identify that video feed quickly, find out the symptoms and the problems, as well as the cause of the problems, and then try to fix it as quickly as possible. So let me talk to you about how live action integrates with video surveillance manager and make that easy for you. First of all, live action makes a connection to video surveillance operations manager and ingests a list of video cameras. And I'll show that to you in the demo as well. And it draws it on the topology map right here. It also consumes Medianet performance monitor data and draw the end-to-end flow between the cameras and the media server. And then it also represents the Medianet performance data by color-coded status. So if you have a threshold crossing alert, you see that in red. It is also able to perform media trace that allow you to see this hop-by-hop status. Green is good, yellow is trouble, and represent the output in a graphical, easy-to-see format. It goes a step further to allow you to adjust QoS policy through a graphical QoS configurator so that you can fix the problem quickly. Another use case is pre-deployment network readiness assessment. Medianet IP/Sla Voice Operation is a very powerful tool to mimic traffic demands on your network. You can actually simulate, say, 4 video cameras, half a dozen telepresence sessions, several desktop video, and also, say, 15 WebEx clients all running at the same time. You can use IP/Sla VO to generate synthetic traffic that mimic the characteristic of real traffic, and then be able to understand how much traffic the network can handle. But to do this in CLI requires a lot of different steps, and when you display the result using CLI, you have to correlate it, and it takes a lot of time and effort. What live action does is provide you with the graphical interface to configure the different tests, and you can actually specify the specific traffic profiles so that you can schedule these tests or run them on demand, and you can run them over and over again. When you run them up to a point where you start seeing performance, say for example, end-to-end delay or packet loss or jitter, get to a point where it's degrading the network, then you know that's how much traffic the network can handle. So the joint solution between live action and Cisco Video Surveillance Manager provide the following unique benefits that address those issues that I mentioned earlier. Live action integrates with Cisco Video Surveillance Manager for the Medianet management technology to scale to hundreds, thousands, and millions of devices and overflow per second. What's unique about live action is that it gives you this graphical end-to-end network visualization that gives you this situational awareness so you can diagnose and resolve the problem quicker. It goes a step further to give you this graphical QoS configurator so you can fix QoS policy issues very quickly and resolve your video quality issue. And with the GUI-based IPSLA VO operation, it simplifies the pre-deployment capacity assessment. So let me walk you over to our demo part over there, and I'll do a quick demo for you. So gather around me here.
Sorry.
It's okay. So here's where you have video degradation, right? Degradation right here. And what we're going to do is show you how live action can fix that within a few clicks. I have here is a console of live action. And this is a very interactive topology. You can actually zoom in and zoom out. Let me just show you quickly. When I zoom in, each of these devices, this circle, big circle represent a device, and the smaller circle represent the interface. So I'm going to back it off a little bit so you can see. I'm in the live action flow tab, and we have 4 cameras right now. And we have a media server that actually distribute the video feed to the safety security desktop that you see over there. Live action, like I mentioned earlier, ingests the list of video cameras from the video surveillance operations manager and draw this on the topology map. It consumes Medianet performance monitor data and draw the end-to-end flow. What I have done here is we've actually filtered this flow so that you don't see everything. You just see these flows from the cameras to the media server. And this is Medianet traffic. So what I'm seeing here is this particular router has got amber status. So I know there's a little bit of a problem. It's any kind of congestion. I have an interface that's also, this is an ingress, this is the egress. So I have an amber color. So I know there's some problem. So at this point, the security officer has already called the help desk and reported a problem. I also see on the VSOM, Video Operations Manager, the bad video feed. So we've been able to recognize that, right? I'm going to go to the dashboard. And this dashboard basically gives you just the overall status of the network, multiple things. But what's interesting about this dashboard is give you the flow dashboard. And I wanted to see, first thing I want to do is confirm the problem and then try to find out what the cause of the problem. So I'm going to right click on this, and we've got a direct workflow that gives us the alerts. So I'm going to do that and go all the way to the beginning, not the beginning, but the most recent alerts. And you can see that there's Medianet loss event occurring from the camera to the media server. I'm going to right-click on this, do an open report. In the back here, I'm going to run a quick loss event report to confirm that there are loss events happening between the cameras and the media server. So that's one performance indicator. Another performance indicator is to double-click on the device, look at the Medianet performance monitor data. As I mentioned earlier, if you have threshold crossing alert that you've set up, you see this in red. So that's another indicator of loss event, packet loss happening. I'm going to go back to the home view. And at this point, what I want to do is run a media trace, Medianet media trace. So I'm going to click on table. Let me close that. Click on table, okay, and make that smaller. Bring that down here a little bit so you can see. I'm going to run a media, oops, sorry. I'm going to run a media trace, and you can see where the packet loss is happening. I'm going to right-click on this, execute media trace, and select the MSI endpoint. The MSI endpoints are basically your cameras that are MSI capable, Medianet capable. I'm going to do an execute media trace. Whoops. The flow may have already, okay, so I'm just going to rerun it. At this point, LiveAction sends a REST API to the MSI endpoint, and the MSI endpoint is not going to be able to tell you the path immediately. It's going to have to figure out the path, and then it's going to have to gather the information about the path, including packet loss, delay, jitter, and it's going to send it back to LiveAction, and LiveAction is going to show that to you on the map. So it's going to take a few seconds for that to happen, and it just started to happen. Now, when you see the red mark here, that means that I don't have valid data yet, and you can start seeing it on the screen here. I'm going to do a refresh data. And right now, you can see that I'm in bucket 0. Buckets are polling periods, so I'm going to refresh until I get to bucket 1 or bucket 2. And as I refresh this, the red mark will become green, and that's when I know that I have valid data. So now I'm in bucket 1, and I see that I have packet loss happening here. You can see that the yellow start to happen between here and the media server, right? So that's a third indicator that there is a problem. So let's go fix the problem. Like I said earlier, what's unique about LiveAction is it allows you to find the problem and also fix it. So we saw earlier that there's a yellow indicator here. So I'm going to double click on this, and I'm going to go to the QoS tab. I see that there's a class that's been defined on the inbound interface, and this class shows amber, so that tells me there's a problem. I'm going to right-click on that just to take a look. There's active drop happening on that class. So I'm going to go and do some adjustment. I'm going to do an adjust Input Qos. Click on here, and it's going to take me to the actual QoS policy. Here I see that there's a policer on this particular interface, and it's basically throttled down to three. So I'm going to change it to 1 million. And I can actually preview CLI so you can see. And I'm going to save it to device. So this is going to actually send it to the CLI, to the router that we saw. And instantly, we just fixed the problem. You have now clear video. With a few clicks, I've been able to resolve the problem. When I go back here, in the next polling period, you will see that this circle is going to go to green. This interface is going to go to green. So LiveAction has integrated with Cisco video surveillance to allow us to diagnose the problem quickly, to resolve the problem, as well as making this happen very quickly. Do you have any questions? I'm going to pause for a minute because I've been talking a lot. Another interesting thing I wanted to show you is when I go to tools and edit VSOM mapping, this is where I was talking about the connection between live action and Cisco Video Surveillance Manager, Operations Manager, is when I right click on it, show devices, this is all the devices that VSOM knows about, and it communicates with live action through an API and let live action know the list of devices. So now, we're going to wait for the polling period. Let me go back to this interface. And let's see. Just wait for a minute for it to go back. So now, my class is no longer amber. And over here, the device is green, the interface is green. I've essentially fixed that problem with a few clicks. Any questions? So you can go to www.actionpack.com and download a version of Live Action, which is a software. You can play with that for 60 days. And if you have any questions, there's a link on the website. You can call us and we can give you a WebEx demo. We can also help you. Actionpack.com. Live Action is the software. Live Action is software, and ActionPack is the company. Let me give you some of my business cards as well. Any questions? Well, thank you very much. Come back here.